Hello, this is Sarah Marisha White, and this is my new podcast, Our Bodies Will Be Dirt. Tune in to the mind of an artist, land steward, healing practitioner, and warrior for liberation as we talk about life, death, and the liberation of our bodies in between. Make a cup of tea, maybe make a little comfy space for yourself and come tap in with me. Hello, it's been a minute. I actually recorded an episode maybe a month or so ago, maybe more, and I had this huge malfunction with my computer with Logic Pro where I was recording, and I have not been able to figure out how to fix that. And it's almost just like a glitch, a technical glitch where I don't have the skill set, and I get frustrated and freeze and just don't do it. So that's on my list of things to take care of this weekend. But I thought, wait a second, there's other ways to record and to share thoughts and experiences. I'm just going to use my phone. So the audio quality might be a little bit different, but it felt important just to take a moment to show up. And yeah, this last few months, it's been really interesting, and I haven't feel a type of way talking about this, but I'm going to be obedient because it seems like the directions in my life are really switching up. Not necessarily by my desire. I've spent the last probably 20 years exploring really deep into all different types of spirituality, just kind of searching, and found so many different practices that I really value and that have changed me and taught me a lot, and that have given me the capacity to be able to hold space for others, that have given me the capacity to, bring sweetness into the world, to bring like my warrior stance into the world, to endure, to create. And I really felt like I was pretty clear on the path that I was here to take. And I think that's the first mistake, right? I was really clear. I thought I was really clear. I was still, in many ways, thinking that my thoughts and my mind, my understanding was going to be enough to get me where I wanted to be. And someone really close to me has been sick with cancer for the last couple of years. I won't go into the details of that they've requested that privacy, but it's really taken a toll on my heart, and it's been really, really hard for me to, even with all my spiritual practices, to really feel like I want to be here. Sometimes like the pain and the grief feels bigger than my want to be here. And I don't really like that. That to me is like not a healthy way that I want to go direction-wise, into letting my mind hold me in a dark space. And to say all that, I was exploring this deep hypnosis path and really feeling drawn towards this like orgasmic experience that I was watching these women have when being hypnotized by this man. And all I wanted was that. I was like, I need that. I started doing these like at-home hypnosis things that can open you up so your body knows how to receive, and it felt really good. And then it's like at that moment, Jesus like snatched me up. And I grew up in church. I grew up seeing the Holy Spirit, knowing about what it felt like to be in the atmosphere of the Holy Ghost. I've seen, I've been to services where I'm knocked out on the floor because, they came and waved some air by me. And to me, even being in it, a lot of it felt like theatrics. And then as I grew up and became more of a revolutionary teen with really big minded ideas around doing anything it takes to have liberation in this lifetime, I didn't like any of the rules or the patriarchy that I felt and experienced growing up with the church. Like the amount of times I was spanked because I was not pleasing. I was like, nah, I want nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that. And completely went the other direction. And felt fine doing that. Like, even now, I don't like what is represented when you think about people that serve God, like what you see out here in this world with all the nationalism, and there's just a lot of things done in the name of God that I'm not down with. But I started to go to church because a friend of mine is a pastor in Northside, Minneapolis, and he used to play drums with me, and we played a lot of shows together, a lot of really big shows together, and he's family to me. And I'm like, let me go check out what's going on at this church. Like, I knew the music would be good. I love going to church in community. Like, I grew up in church in Northside and in Southside. I went to a church in Southside right where George Floyd was murdered. Spent a lot of my life there on that intersection. And yeah, I just thought, let me check it out. So I go there, and it felt good, just to be in that atmosphere. I didn't really think much of it. I went another week. Again, felt good in that atmosphere, but wasn't really thinking that it would change me. And then I thought, man, I've read all these ancient texts from all over the world. Like, just to paint an example, I think I've done like 750 hours worth of training plus, like 3 yoga teacher certifications, maybe even 4 at this point. Like, I've invested tons of time in reading these books and scriptures that are based on like Eastern philosophy. All the Quran, like everything, like why wouldn't I just read the Bible? Like, what is it that I'm so against? Is it the way I was shamed as a child? Is it the belt that slapped me in the name of the Bible? Like, I couldn't really figure out what that inner resistance was, but the inner resistance was real. And I understand anybody else who has that. I'm just saying I'm there with you. Like, I'm there with you. And this time around, I started to read it differently. I didn't start in Genesis and try to read all the way through. At first, I thought that's what I was going to do, but I'm like, doesn't make any sense to me. I started with the gospel, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. And those are where like the direct words of Jesus are, and the story of Jesus's life. And something happened inside of me. Like, my heart just started to change, and I started to feel really convicted. I started to look around my life and see all these things that I was worshiping. And yeah, I just started to feel convicted about things that I loved. And not everything has changed yet. But I'm still holding on to my resistance. That's just my nature. But I have to say, it did kind of knock me off of my feet when it came to like direction that I'm going with my work, my art, my life, my love life. Like, I'm in full-on celibacy right now. Like, I don't want to share myself outside of a dynamic that feels really intentional and aligned spiritually. And that's coming from someone who is exploring non-monogamy and, yeah, just kind of casually dating. And I've always been very intentional and selective, don't get me wrong, but yeah, I won't even go into how specific of a person I'm looking for now. Like, specific. And nothing else is going to do for me. I won't be moved by anything else at this time. And I could change. Summer's coming. But I've never felt so specific on what I know I want and need in my heart and on what will support my growth. And I guess I just wasn't expecting that to be the outcome from leaning into God. And I'd say I'm still very much a baby in this new path. So I wouldn't be trying to like preach to anyone or tell anybody else anything they should be doing, because really it's not about that. It's about what it does inside of me and how I can show up differently in the world because I'm full. Because I'm not doing things for me. I'm doing things to outwardly show and shine the love that I'm learning about that lives inside of everyone. Even my enemies. Maybe they just haven't been shown the love that they need yet. And I'm not saying whose love they need. That's for each of us to find on our own. But I'm saying for me, there was this like insatiable part of my soul that always was searching. And now for moments of my day, I feel like that part is filled up. And then the rest of the day I feel crazy. Like, what is happening? How is this where I'm at right now? How did I end up exactly where I tried to run away from my whole life, back at the beginning? It's really humbling, and I know a lot of people get really triggered because of their own experiences, like growing up in different churches and different religions and different faiths. And I know what that feels like, because I wish I could explain. Like, sometimes it was like 5 days a week in the church. Like, everything was about God when I was a kid. And I really resented it. It really made me feel like I was never going to be enough. It really made me feel like everything I did was sin. Not realizing, like, yeah, that's a collective thing. That's just the way human nature is. It's to desire to cling on to what we want, and not to live in a surrendered state, as in a state to serve others, to be here for your purpose to serve others. That's kind of like fundamentally an understanding, it seems, in all the different spiritual practices that I've studied. I've done thorough meditation teacher trainings. I've done thorough trainings about the nervous system and the subtle body. So much of it is about serving and surrendering. And it hits a little different when I think about the fact that God could love us so much that he sends his son to be surrendered in front of everyone, hung for us. And that because of that, our sin can be washed free and dissolved. And every day we get another chance to be who we want to be. And at any moment, just snap, our bodies, our flesh are done, back in the dirt. So it's like we just have this time to show up with our hearts. And again, I'm not telling anybody else like what path they need to take. I'm just being honest and transparent about what has changed in my life. And that's not really what I was planning on doing. I'm not super comfortable with it yet. I feel like I'm hiding at home with my Bible. Like, am I turning into some type of Jesus freak? As a kid, that was I was taunted by that idea. And so I haven't said anything. And I'm like, am I going to stay stuck? Stop recording podcasts? Stop moving forward? Stop doing meditations? Because now I'm getting to know God. And honestly, I was like, yeah. I would prefer it. That's how I felt. I prefer just hiding and having my secret relationship with God. But, how can you not share when the good things happen too? And I think it's good for me. I think we'll see what unfolds. I've been being like, yo, I need direct messages. I need direct answers. I can't be out here trying to listen in the wind. I'm like, tell me if this is where I should be. And I feel kind of frustrated, I'm like, man, shit feels harder now. Because I do have to think about my choices in a different way. If I'm serving God, it can't always be my way. It can't be what I desire. I mean, real talk, I want to be cuddled right now, and I want closeness. And I'm like, where's my husband? Looking at my watch. And I want to be ready. And I want to be solid in my relationship with my faith and be ready for when he comes. So I understand why right now I have to be maybe a little bit uncomfortable because, the opportunities I've had lately to be close to men are there. And I'm choosing to wait until it's clear. And that feels super lonely. It's not what I want, but I'm trying to learn what it looks like to put what I want second, third, maybe even, I haven't made the best choices on my own. I can't stand up on my own. I'm barely making it through on my own. Real talk. I've just felt really unsure of what's next, where I'm supposed to be, where I'm being called to go. If it ain't what I thought I was here to do, what is it? And yeah, it's kind of a new surrender flex. I'm like, cool. There's a song that they cover at church where they're like, lace up your boots, put on your backpack. It's time to ride. It's time to ride. And that's kind of what I have to do every day. I'm like, man, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to show up. Sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, but I make it downstairs to the table that I journal at, and I write my prayers, and I write what I'm grateful for, Well, I drink my coffee with my ashwagandha and my cacao, and I make a ritual out of that. I'm like, okay, step 1, I did that. Step 2, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do some type of physical workout, get my body moving, like give myself a chance. Because on my phone, all I see is death and destruction. All I see is other people living their best lives. All I see is rich people getting richer. And I don't have what I want. So I've just been learning how to take care of myself differently and how to lean on God and stay flexible. I'm just laughing because I feel like, yeah, I wouldn't have said this 6 months ago, that's for sure. I really thought I was going to find all my answers in different books. And, I'm like, if you see me out, I probably have the Bible in my backpack because I'm like in it. I'm trying to get through this thing as many times as I can so I can understand what this message is. And if it is for me, how I can relate to it, because it's still a lot of the damage that patriarchy and like toxic masculinity has done to my trust space, me feeling safe. It really comes up when I'm trying to read all these men talking about things. I'm like, oh my gosh, But what has me leaning in is to think that when Jesus was on the way to go sacrifice his life, looking around at all these people, he cried in front of everyone, not because he was going to die, but because he was so sad that they couldn't see that he was right there. They wanted to kill him because he was breaking their religious rules. He was hanging out with the people on the streets, with the whores, with the dirty folks, with the rebels. They didn't like that he was not sticking to the dogma, so they killed him. And it doesn't matter if you mess with the Bible or not, this is your own journey, this is your own life. But to me, that was like one of the most romantic and loving things I've ever heard. Is still to weep for them. Like, man, you don't see me. And I love men crying. Crying for love. Oh, that's one of my favorite parts about the church, y'all. Not to be trifling for a second, but I love seeing men surrendered crying. It reminds me of just the positive things that men have inside of them that were forced to be shut down due to the way that our society evolved. And yeah, it's been really grounding to be around. And then humbled. My husband might be there, let me tell you. Anyways, I need to get ready for work. I just wanted to take a second to just share my thoughts and where I've been at. And if you don't want to mess with me anymore because I'm talking about Jesus, that's all good. I send you love. It was orgasmic meditation a few months ago. Now it's Jesus. I'm an open book. Like the amount of things I've done that are, yeah. I went pretty far into like a lot of spiritual practices and opened up myself spiritually to a lot. So if I do end up really on this path, I'll have a much larger testimony later. But right now I'm still in the trenches, so I don't feel as if I'm in a testimonial space. I'm in a space of learning how to endure and strengthening what the word faith means. Do I believe that I will be provided for? Even though every day I mess up, do I still believe that that love is so big that it will provide for me? Do I believe I can step forth into everything I do with confidence because I know that I'm given this huge umbrella of grace? Do I believe I can walk away from things that I've invested heavily in because something doesn't sit right with my spirit, even if that means other people may turn against me? We will see. We will see. Anyways, I send you all so much peace and love, and coming from the most authentic place inside of my heart, may we be resilient and strong, and may we rise up and protect others. May we stop when we see people on the street and just check in on them. I saw this really emotional story yesterday, this testimony about this guy who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and lived. There was like a sea otter that circled around him and kept him afloat while they were able to rescue him. It was wild. And he did it when he was 19. And the craziest part about the story is that he, on his way there, was sobbing on the city bus. And all he wanted was just somebody to look towards him and say, "Are you okay?" And he knew he was on his way to jump, and the guy next to him pointed at him and said, "What's up with this dude?" and started laughing. And he gets off and walks to the bridge, and he's pacing back and forth, sobbing, and everybody's just walking past him. Nobody would even stop and check on him or say a word to him. And then finally a woman came with a big smile, and he thought, this is it. She's going to save me. I don't have to do it today. And she said, "Can you take my picture?" And he took her picture. And then she left, and then he jumped off the bridge. Nobody would just look up. So for me, my new walk with God, with Jesus, is like the heart. It's a heart walk. How can I make my heart not so hard? Where I'm here to serve. There's so many people that need help right now. And yeah, I just feel like we get stuck up in this individualistic, what do I need to build? I'm taking care of mine. Yeah, let's all get ours. I want to be successful. I want to be abundant. I want to have what I need. I want to find the love of my life. I want all that. But how can I keep my heart soft still? That's what I'm meditating on right now. And anyway, not trying to go off. Take care of yourself. Be encouraged. If you see me out here at the club, don't be judging me. I'm not like a, saint. I'm still navigating both worlds right now and trying to figure out how to be better, but I'm still trifling, y'all. Anyway, I love you. Much love. Always power to the people, And power to the people, because power